Engage, enlighten, empower.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Create More Business Live. I am your host, Roderick Ferrier. Today, our special guest is Tim Stewart. Tim is a farm boy from western Nebraska who spent 21 years in the uniform of the United States Army, retiring as a captain in 1998. He has also been an athletic coach for over 30 years, working with athletes from 5 years old to being the varsity men's soccer coach for Johnsburg High School, consulting with college athletics along the way. Tim has filled all industrial managed positions from team leader to plant manager and has done over $50 million in sales in the financial services industry. He's a published author and accomplished speaker. Today, Tim is a business life coach where he uses his 38-plus years of athletic coaching combined with 20-plus years of military leadership and 30-plus years of experience in industrial personnel and financial management to guide his clients over the many hurdles he has already conquered in his life. And we're honored and privileged to have Tim joining us today. And Tim, I'm going to switch over. I'm going to make you presenter. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us, and we look forward to the information that you're going to be sharing with us. So welcome to Create More Business Live.
Thank you, Rod. It's exciting to be here. I've been doing a lot of live presentations. I know I need to move towards webinars, and so you're pushing me a little bit outside my comfort zone, but I want to take the opportunity to share my experience today. Networking 287 is a concept that I've developed over the years. Real simply put, right up front, the 2 stands for 2% of the people in any room need what you do right now. 87% of the people in that same room know someone who needs what you do right now. Today's agenda is we're going to have fun. We're going to think outside your favorite geometric shape. I don't want to lock you into a box. We're going to break down networking into itty-bitty pieces. It's a word that we use a lot, but I'm not sure we really understand what it means. We're going to examine each of those itty-bitty pieces, such as how do we prepare for, how do we develop our infomercial from the 24/7, which stands for 24 words, 7 seconds, which is becoming very popular in some of the networking events I attend, and some still stay with the 30 to 60-second commercial. We're going to talk about how to enter a networking situation, and more importantly, how to act while you're there. Then we're going to talk about that thing that you really want to know, how to become wildly profitable from a networking situation. How do I make money? And finally, how are we going to convince our spouse this is really work? I know I hear all the time from my wife, you're going to another meeting, you've been to these meetings 20 times, and you haven't gotten business from that meeting yet. Why do you keep going back? I'm going to explain the reason that we do. And finally, we're going to put the itty-bitty pieces back together. 2% of the people in any room you walk into need what you do right now. Now, when I say that, that could be a physical room, such as a networking event at a bank, at a local restaurant, or it could be a social networking room from Facebook, LinkedIn, to Pinterest, any of them. However, at least they know they need what you do right now. Many of them need what you do. They're just not aware of it yet. Now, 87% of the people in that same room know someone who needs what you do right now. Imagine there are 100 people in a room, and you want to find the 2 that need what you do right now. Wouldn't it be much easier to focus on the 87 who know someone who needs what you do right now? When you understand these numbers, you can be more relaxed in the networking situation, which makes you more fun, which will attract more people and bring you more success, which will make you even more relaxed, and you'll be even more fun to be around, which will attract even more people and bring you even more success, which will, I think you can get the picture. Now, here's a test. How many of you on this webinar right now need a life coach? Book a time to talk to me right here. But another test, how many of you on this webinar know someone who needs a life coach right now? Same thing. Got a teenager in your life who could use some guidance? Got a manager or a boss who isn't quite hitting the marks? Now, more importantly, I have a question for you. Why did the chicken cross the road? Well, many people say to get to the other side. Some will say to prove to the raccoon and the skunk that it could be done. To boldly go where no chicken has gone before? Or because it could not resist the power of the dark side. Why did the chicken cross the road? The truth is, the chicken didn't stop and think it through. And many of us approach networking situations in much the same way. We have this misguided belief that if we show up, someone will notice us and do business with us. Kind of like the Field of Dreams with Kevin Costner. What do you think about? What are the things that you should think about before going to a networking event? Who's going to be there? What do I wear? When is the event? Where is the event? We learn these as the 5 W's. Who, what, when, where, why, and of course, how am I going to act? Let's start at the beginning. Who is going to be at the event? Who cares? When you understand that 2% of the people in the room need what you do right now, yet 87% of the people in that same room know someone who needs what you do right now, then really, who cares? You know, many people focus, is there going to be someone from my target market at this event? Doesn't matter. What matters is there's someone there who knows someone who's in your target market. Remember, this is a networking event, not a sales event. 287 Networking says 87% of the people in the room know someone who needs what you do right now. So 87% of the people in that room know someone who is in your target market. So really, who cares? Within reason, of course. What do I wear when I go to a networking event? Clothes would obviously be a good start, but is it formal or business casual? How many of you have seen that guy who shows up in a tuxedo to an event on a boat, or that person who shows up in shorts at a evening black tie event? Do you have branded clothing? Clothing with your name, your logo, something you wear all the time so people recognize you instantly? Have you been complimented on a certain color? When I wear turquoise, people say, wow, that looks good on you. I've found that I have a better response from people in the room when I wear a deep blue or turquoise shirt, and that is, my closet now is full of them. I didn't recognize that in the beginning, but now I do, because I get more conversations and people seem to be more comfortable when I wear that color. Is there a contest? Many networking events do things around Halloween, or they do things that participate. Don't think, that's so I'm not wearing a Halloween costume to a networking event. You will be noticed. And as we'll find out later, that's an important part of this. If you're not a fashion guru, have one in your life. When my wife and I go anywhere, we go out to dinner, something special, I'm going to a wedding, my wife will take a picture of me and send it to my daughter-in-law in Texas and say, is this okay? Heather is my fashion guru. Take 2 minutes and think about what you're going to wear going to the event. When is it? Is it a morning event, an evening, at lunchtime? Show up early. Stay late. Be on time. That person who walks in the last few minutes and they're all harried, oh my gosh, I've only got 5 minutes, so here, take my card, call me, hey, yeah, how you doing? And they just run through the event and they pop out. They're not building relationships. They're just showing up and thinking, hey, you're lucky to have me here. At some events, it may even cost you to be late. Take 2, think it through, and plan accordingly. Now, where is the event? I'm going to tie these 2 together. Is it at a bank, an office, a local restaurant? Is it close to home, at a chamber office? If it is more than 20 minutes away, try to schedule an appointment or two in that area to help you be more efficient with your time. Every Thursday morning, I go to Libertyville, Illinois, which is about 30 minutes away from my home, for a networking event. What I do is, this week, I tried to schedule an appointment or 2 following next week's event. So I'm not just driving out there to have coffee with friends. I'm physically having one-on-one appointments. Now, you've heard them called one-on-one. That's a competitive environment. We like one-and-one because the two of us are going to share and do business together, not compete against each other. But try to schedule that appointment in the event. Take two and think it through. Where are you going? Now, why am I going? Am I going to get some referrals? Am I going so I can give some referrals? Am I going because they serve free alcohol? Trust me, people do it all the time. Is there free food? Am I going to support a friend who spoke? I've never been to this event before, but my friend is speaking. Let me go. Take two and think it through. Knowing why you are going will help you answer some of the other questions. And the why is the most important thing in your business. Now, how am I going to act? Very important. How many of you have stopped before going into a networking event and really thought, well, I'm going to act like a fool today, or I'm going to act sophisticated today. I am going to walk in slowly, take names. Some people are natural introverts and are not comfortable in a networking setting. They have to stop and practice saying their infomercial, practice going through the things they're going to do to get their nerves under control. Others are natural extroverts. They need to dial it down a bit. That person who just comes in and does all the talking, overrides everything you're going to say, they need to stop and think, I have a tendency to do this. I need to slow down and listen. Take two. Think it through. How are you going to act? Now, developing your infomercial. What do the people you are meeting for at the first time want to know about you? Your name, what you do, what sets you apart from your competition, and why, we're back to why they should sit down with you. Now, when someone makes you laugh, you want to sit down with them. When someone makes you sit up and take notice, you want to sit down with them. That's, I mentioned the Halloween costumes. When someone makes you feel appreciated, you want to sit down with them. When someone has something you or someone you know wants or needs, you want to sit down with them. When someone needs something you or someone you know has a service, a product, you want to sit down with them. Remember, you are in someone else's 87%. 287 is all about you. 87.2 is all about them. So make people laugh. Be fun to be around. One of the things I talk about relationships all the time, and I tell about the gentleman who was on the airplane. I noticed he had his wedding ring on his thumb, and I said, "Sir, I couldn't help but notice you got your wedding ring on the wrong finger." He said, "Son, I married the wrong woman." Make people laugh. Make people sit up and take notice. Make people feel appreciated. Is that a new haircut? Wow, that blouse is that's just beautiful on you. That referral you sent me last week turned into business. Thank you so much. Make people feel appreciated and ask questions about what they do. What do you do? Who do you do it for? How do you find your clients? Ask questions. But when they ask you, just give them enough to pique their interest. Don't give them the whole book. Don't give them the whole story. This is a networking event. You want to meet more people. If things work, have a mental list going of who in your world needs what. My daughter needs a plumber. I'm looking for a plumber I can trust. My son needs a psychologist or psychiatrist. Now, when you enter that networking event, this is key. Don't just charge in there like a bull in a china shop. Walk in slowly and observe. Now, the question would be, what are you looking for? Easy. Is there someone people seem to be standing in line to talk to? That guy's got something. I need to find out what it is. Is there someone standing all by themselves? The prom, the lone Nellie on the dance floor. Is there someone making people laugh? What's he saying? What's she saying? What are they doing? Why are people laughing? Is there someone who makes you sit up and take notice? Wow, that is one handsome dude. I wonder what he does. It's one good-looking girl. I wonder what she does. Is there someone who knows someone who needs what you do? Now, you have a 9 in 10 chance. 87% of the people know somebody who needs what you do. So that should be an easy one to answer. Is there someone you can help with anything? There's an old saying that givers gain. In the world of networking, it is a powerful, powerful phrase. Now, how do you act at this networking event? How many of you really have stopped and thought about that? Now, it's okay to have a snack, but don't make it a meal unless it is a sit-down meal, a lunchtime networking event. It's okay to have a recreational, inebriating beverage, but don't make it a party. We've all seen that happen. You are here to get to know someone, so don't hang with your buddies, your long-lost brother-in-law you haven't seen since the last family reunion. Don't hang out with them. That's a different event. This is a networking event. You're here to get to know new people. Now, if you hit it off with someone, set an appointment on the spot. Don't have their people call your people. Have an appointment calendar. Most of us have it in our cell phone today. Some people still use the paper version. If you don't have it with you, go back out to your car and get it. Now, I learned something from our host today, Roderick, had a youcanbook.me site, and that's how I booked my conversation with him, and I went out and got my site and put it on my website within 24 hours. What a great tool. Right on my website, people can find me, see what time slots I have available, and book me. But make that appointment on the spot. Know ahead of time how many appointments you want to set at each meeting. Then work for that number. Don't force it. You know, if it's getting down to the end and you haven't hit the 3 appointments, don't just start running up to people, anybody, and making an appointment. Make sure there's a connection. Now, how do you become wildly profitable from a networking event? This is the one thing that makes or breaks every networking event. This is the one thing that everyone knows, even you, everyone knows they must do, but only the wildly successful do it well. This is the one thing that, if done properly, will grow your business at an unstoppable, yes, I said unstoppable pace, and I've been experiencing this for the last year. And it's also one thing I'm not going to tell you unless you sit down for that one appointment with me. Just kidding. I'm going to give it to you right now. The fortune is in the follow-up. Everything else I've talked about really doesn't matter. Now, you have to do these things. You have to meet the people. But if you're not going to follow up, all you did was have a good time at an event with a bunch of other people. Why don't people follow up? That's a question that has been gnawing at me for years. I watch people come in, and people like them, and they seem to trust them, but they just don't follow up. I've identified the 7 reasons that people do not follow up with someone else. I want you to pay close attention and see which category you fall into. Number 1 is a prom date. I was a high school track star, football star, and this girl was just the star of the school. I mean, she's beautiful, she's gorgeous, and everyone thought that we would go to prom together. I was back in my old hometown about 15 years after high school graduation. I ran into her, and she said, "Tim, I have a question for you." And I said, "What's that?" She said, "Why didn't you ever ask me to prom?" And I had to tell her. I was afraid you'd say no. And many times, we might see someone that we think could help us do business, could help us grow our business, would be a connector for us, but we're afraid they'd say no to us, and so we don't make that call. The second one is the psychic. I'm pretty sure they're not going to do, no, I know they're not going to do business with me, so I'm not going to call them. I'm not going to follow up with them. Now, we all know this next person, and maybe some of you even are this next person. Now, that is the narcissist. Yep, that's right. I'm so good, you have to call me. Oh, Lord, it's hard to be humble when you're perfect in every way. We all see this person. They just walk through, and they don't even bother taking your business card. They just give you theirs. Now, the next one is the squirrel. Now, how many of us are squirrel hunters? We have a tendency to get distracted by every shiny object or every shiny toy that flashes in front of us. A friend of mine and I are real bad at this. Matter of fact, we go after the real big squirrels. And how many of us get stuck on that hamster wheel? We just get so busy. We go to the networking event, but we've got 7 appointments planned today, so we don't have time to follow up with any of the people we met. But as soon as I can get off this hamster wheel, I'll go ahead and make those phone calls. Then, of course, there's the sales-phobic. Everybody I sit down with within 2 minutes tries selling me their service, their product, their pills, their lotions, their whatever it is. We've got to stop selling. Just get to meet people. And 7th, and one of my favorite on the list, is Gullible Gertrude. Gullible Gertrude is, she's the one who walks in and she's bought insurance for this person. She's hired this coach. She's had this auto mechanic do her brakes. And she's gone on and she's spent all this money with everyone else. And she sits back and why isn't anybody buying from me? Now, if you don't know if you're gullible or not, just send me $1 and I'll tell you. But I do want you to do this thing very closely. This next screen, pay attention to exactly what it says, and you're going to find out something about yourself. You're going to find out that even you are a little bit gullible. At least when my granddaughter sent that one to me, I said it. I said, gullible. It doesn't sound like, that kid. The fortune is in the follow-up. What could happen if you do follow up with people? Number one, you may get a quality referral or two. You may get a new client or customer. You might make some money. And at the very least, you might make a new friend. I met Frank Hostica at a networking event in Crystal Lake. He was a gentleman who was starting to grow a legal shield business, and we hit it off right away as friends. Later on, I met him in a different environment outside the world of networking and found out that he could help me in my personal life as well. 3 years after that first meeting, I officiated his wedding. And now, next April, I've been invited to go on a cruise with him and his family to officiate his daughter's wedding. Have we done business together? Yes, we network together all the time. And we have shared many, many, many referrals. But more importantly, I have found my new best friend from a networking event. Just do it. Now, finally, here's one thing that's really important. How to make your spouse think this is really work. Well, of course, all you have to do is become wildly profitable. And that demands that you follow up. You have to do all the steps that I listed earlier. You have to do the who, what, when, where, why, and how thought processes. But if you're not going to follow up, then get a job handing out cards at Walmart. It is not going to work for you. And bring home a bag of marbles. This fella, he lost his job. It was a good job, but he lost it. He had an interview for a new job, but traffic kept him from getting there. That lottery ticket he bought that day didn't even win. After dinner, he's walking along the beach, and he's dragging his feet, lamenting in his sorrows, and he kicks something, picks it up, and he's, just my luck, a bag of marbles. He takes all the marbles out and he throws it just as far as he could out into the ocean. He said, that's for that stupid job. I didn't like that job anyway. He throws another one. That's for traffic. I hate traffic. And he tossed one for the lottery system. And he started thinking about all of his problems. And with every problem he thought of, he threw a marble into the ocean. He even forgave his brother for taking his girlfriend way back in the 7th grade. He got way back there. He got down to 2 marbles left. He took the second to the last marble. And he said, this is for everything that good that is going to happen to me from today forward. And he threw it just as far as he could. He took that last marble. He put it in his pocket, and he patted it once, and he said, you're coming home with me to remember this night. He walked in the door with a new bounce in his step, and his wife said, what have you been up to? He said, well, let me show you. And he pulled out the marble. But before he could say anything, she said, where did you find that pearl? Oh. It was a pearl that when they sold, they were able to pay off their debt and get that new beginning they had been looking for. Now, his old self would have whined about all the pearls he threw away, but his new self was happy with the one that he kept. Now, there are 3 morals to this story. The first moral is, your life is full of pearls. These are your friends, your family, your relatives, your networks. Are you shining them and wearing them proudly? Or you toss them away one by one like so many marbles? The second moral of this story is if you'll focus on the positive, good things can happen to you. However, if you get lost in all the negative events going on in our life, you're going to be trapped and never see what a wonderful world we live in. And finally, the most important moral of this story is when you bring a pearl home to Mama, Mama's happy. And when Mama is happy, nothing else matters. Let's face it, folks, everything we do is for our family. We work so we can have a nice house, so we can take the trips we want, so we can drive the cars we want. When you're going out to these networking meetings and you're meeting people and you're not following up with them, then you're not doing your job. You're not taking care of Mama and you're not taking care of your family. The fortune is in the follow-up. If you want to build your business at an unstoppable pace, be the first to follow up and make it a practice, make it a habit. Every person you meet, follow up. You're going to find that 87%, 9 out of 10 of those people have someone who needs what you do in their back pocket. And that's all you want to do is be invited into their network. Now, I'm going to summarize. I've done a lot of things in my life, but at core, I'm a coach. Networking is about meeting people, not making sales. I have been successful at coaching many people in the networking process on how to get this. Now, the sales still need to happen, but they're going to come in follow-up appointments. Either follow-up appointments with the person that you've met, if they're in the 2%, or follow-up appointments with referrals that they give to you if they're in the 87% as you've gone on to build that relationship. Remember, 2% of the people in any room you need what you do right now. So if you're going into that room trying to sell to the 2%, you are going to aggravate the 98%. Those who don't need or don't know they need what you do right now. And again, I emphasize, that's not just a physical room. That's Facebook. That's LinkedIn. If you're going out there and all you're doing is selling, you might find your 2%, but in the process, you're going to aggravate. You're going to just flat piss off the other 98%. Stop it. Get to know the 87% of the people in the room who know someone who needs what you do right now. Find a different way of communicating. Give. And you'll find that people are going to want to give back to you. Stop selling, start networking, and become wildly profitable. Now get off the bench and get back in the game. I am Coach Papa, and I do approve this message. Here's my contact information. Thank you, Rod, for inviting me to be on your show today, and I look forward to any of you who'd like to reach out and find out more about how you can make networking work for yourself and your business and your family. Good luck. God bless.
Tim, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to share this valuable information with our listeners today. The recording will be up later this week, probably tomorrow, so I'll make sure, Tim, that I send that to you so you can share it with your friends and guests. Guys, here is Tim's information. I encourage you to reach out to him if you have any questions. We want to thank you again for taking time, guys, out of your busy schedule to join us. My name is Roderick Ferrier, and here at Create More Business Now, we utilize social media, mainly LinkedIn, to help you network with new prospects faster and with greater accuracy. So the powerful marketing automation systems that we have communicate with your company's social media accounts like LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter, and it automatically closes the gap between connections and client, adds value, shortens the sales cycle, and gives you more time to communicate with hot prospects right now. And as always, we are live every Tuesday and Thursday at 12 p.m. Tim, thank you so much again for for this valuable information and the pearls and the nuggets of knowledge and wisdom that you shared with us today. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Rod. Have a great day.
You too, guys. Thank you, and God bless.
Engage, enlighten, empower.